at the Battle of the Washita. This was a very important military engagement between the United States and Indian from the Cheyenne. During this conflict, General George A. Custer rushed the Indians that were part of Black Kettle's village. They weren't expecting it. It was a sneak attack, and it established the supremacy of the United States in this area against the Cheyenne, forcing them into retreat. During the time, Custer was able to effectively go in, capture women and children, and in his official report, he said that he killed around 103 soldiers, which is a point of controversy. But this battle alone established Custer's reputation as an Indian killer. And when it made the newspapers, much to his chagrin, later on, it was looked at with the controversy that we would see any massacre back then or even today. And according to the after reports, Custer was furious that the information on the battle was leaked to papers back in the East. All right, we made it to Kingfisher Cemetery in Kingfisher, Oklahoma. We are on the hunt for Emmett Dalton's grave. Well, we're on the hunt, but we're not having much luck. We called City Hall. They said they had papers there available, but since we're already here, she tried to guide us through. We're not having luck finding the plots or the sections because they don't have section numbers here. So Chris is over there speaking with someone right now, and hopefully we can find the Dalton clan here. All right, we found it. We were probably spending about 30 minutes, and the stone that they show on findagrave.com is not the same. So this is the family plot behind me. right, so this is Emmett Dalton's final resting place. He was part of the Dalton gang, came from a large family. They were bank robbers. Their most famous heist was in Coffeyville in the eastern part of the state of Kansas. Dalton was shot over 20 times during that failed robbery, or double robbery, and they actually thought he was dead. They were ready to take pictures of his dead body. When he woke up, he was remanded to prison, spent a number of years there. He eventually went out to Los Angeles, California, wrote a biography about his outlaw days, which they made into one of the first silent movies. After that, he became a real estate agent of all things. And eventually, he was interred here. The inscription says, "Here I lay sleeping, but not to remain. I look for the coming of Jesus again." Check it out, guys. We're on the corner of Oklahoma and Division Street in Guthrie, Oklahoma. And Chris is about to reenact the scene from Rainman, where Raymond Babbit walks across the street and gets confused when the walk sign turns to "Do Not Walk." Here we have Elmer McIntyre. On April 22nd, died with his boots up. Elmer's got something of an interesting story. He was a rough and tumble character. He was involved in gunfights, and he was eventually killed by a sheriff. What remains interesting about Elmer McIntyre is not so much how he lived, but the events following his death. Apparently, McIntyre owed money to a lot of people. Elmer's body lay unclaimed at the funeral home. So one of his debtors came to lay claim to it and identified himself, I believe, as McIntyre's brother-in-law. He was able to take the body, and to make sure that Elmer paid back in death what he couldn't in life, he put him in his own circus, in fact, in a freak show, and mummified poor Elmer's body, and for a number of years went around with it. When the freak show itself and the circus finally collapsed and was no longer economically viable, the body stayed with all the props. And so I believe it was in the 1960s that the $6 Million Man was being filmed, and one of the crew members came upon a funhouse in California and found all these old props. Well, one of the body's props was hanging up in the rafters or was tied to something. And he went to pull on the arm, this crew member, and when he did, he got the surprise of his life because he pulled down on it and he revealed a skeleton. The arm of Elmer McIntyre, completely in skeletal form. So they took it for an autopsy. DNA tests proved that it was a human body, human remains at least. They determined it was Elmer McIntyre, and after being in California for a while, he was reinterred here in Guthrie, Oklahoma.
Henry Andrew Thomas, nicknamed Heck, was a lawman, and he was one of the men who was responsible for ending the run of the Wild Bunch, also known as the Doolin Dalton Gang. Now, Emmett Dalton, the surviving member of the gang, said that due to Thomas's relentless pursuit, they attempted 2 simultaneous robberies in Coffeyville, Kansas, planning to leave the territory with a haul. These failed, and 4 gang members died in a shootout there. In August 1896, Thomas led a posse to track down and killed outlaw Bill Doolin.
And of course you have boots up to signify that he was killed with his boots on. We're in Oklahoma City, and we're at the Arthur
P. Murrow Plaza Center, which was the site of the April 19th, 1995 bombing of this building, which took 168 lives and many more were injured. It's a very symbolic place. It's very peaceful. On either side of the reflecting pool are two walls. One is inscribed with the time 9:03 and one at 9:01 on the other side. The pool represents 9:02, which is the moment of the blast when it occurred. The terrorist act was perpetrated by Terry Nichols and Timothy McVeigh. The seats over here represent each life that was lost. There's 168 seats, and they're tiered according to the floor that each person was on. So in some cases they're smaller seats, and those are representative of children. And the seats themselves, I'm told, represent chairs around dinner tables that will no longer be filled because those people are no longer with us. I think the most difficult thing about the entire memorial here is this outside fence. They decided to keep this up and incorporate it into the final design of the museum, and it's a living testimony and tribute to the people that were lost here and the loved ones that were left behind. And just reading some of these things, like this letter here to this lady's mother, it just breaks your heart. I mean, after all these years, it's kind of difficult to read this stuff. Can't imagine losing someone like this, and it still weighs heavy even on this person's heart for 24 years, and then just seeing all the notes that have been left behind, and some have been archived, but some of them just keep the reminder very raw. Hey guys, welcome to Stillwater, Oklahoma. Stillwater, you rock. Great meal tonight at Eskimo Joe's. Chicken fried chicken. Yum yum. Very good. Good chili too, and the cheese fries. That's what they're known for. They were to die for. Awesome. Good stuff.
House, no one answered. Waits, nobody's home. Reached the man, down trip and just can't say. Wouldn't kept a woman home so long. We just got in the studio last week in Oklahoma City to record this one, so this will be our first single coming out.
Yeah!
It's the first song I ever wrote called Tonight.
This is Avery Stinnick, guys. He's phenomenal. Check him out. He's on Facebook, all over the place. Social media, out of Jones, Oklahoma. Listen up.
Haven't talked since you walked out. Haven't even tried your phone. Yes, you meant it when you said you weren't coming back. Leaving me here alone.
Thanks again for traveling with Trey. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave me a comment to let me know what you like about these episodes. Or if there's something you want to see, let me know that too. I always appreciate the support. Until next time.